Okay, I want to talk about some counterintuitive thoughts that may come into play when you're thinking about or considering the idea of hiring an asset manager. Now, first of all, I think viewers of this channel are already going to know what my opinion is on whether it's worth hiring an asset manager. And the view from my standpoint is you should never hire an asset manager because it's costly. In general, firms will charge, say, 1% of assets or even as much as 2% of assets to take over control of your money and allocate it, and so on and so forth, in investments that are suitable for you. And this is much more easily done by you as an individual by using low-fee index funds, a low-fee bond fund, low-fee S&P 500 index fund. And remember, most asset managers underperform the stock market over the long term. And a big part of that is because of their fee structure, but also it's just hard to beat the market, right? And with a set of index funds, you have very high confidence that you will get the market return and at the same time pay very, very low fees. So this is the sort of the orthodox argument for why you would not want to use an asset manager that charges that kind of fee structure. Now, the unorthodox way to think about it came from a friend of mine. I was having a conversation about kind of retirement planning and, whether to what extent you want to take ownership and command and control of your own capital, your own investments. And this friend of mine said something very, very interesting. She said, look, when the stock market is correcting or there's a crash, I know that I have a tendency to panic. I have a tendency to do something rash. And so I hire the asset manager to just take it off my plate. I don't think about it. And when I do want to do something rash like sell, I have to call him and kind of get him to do it or get him to stop me from doing it. It's an interesting way to frame it. And the metaphor I thought of when I was speaking to her was, so the asset manager here is basically a locked door between you and a bad decision. Think of it that way. And on some level, say for example, like if this guy protected you or this woman protected you from making a dumb decision during, say, a 60% correction that we had in the great financial crisis of 2008, 2009, or the 50+% correction we had during COVID, which is a very quick V correction, right? If it stopped you from getting out at the bottom, you actually might, with that one locked door, pay for the whole career of fees that you paid to this person, right, for running your money, even if they underperformed somewhat, right? And so it is interesting how certain fulcrum decisions can really, really wreck your long-term investment performance or make it very, very good. Sometimes just very few decisions or lack of decisions in a very short period of time can have tremendous impacts down the road, right? And so this was admittedly a very counterintuitive reason, and but actually had some merit if you're the kind of person who you really know yourself well and you know that this is a tremendous risk that you might run during, say, a future correction. And this locked door idea of having somebody protecting you from a bad decision, you could argue this is valid, right? And then, of course, to take it one more level in terms of counterintuitive thinking, maybe the master skill here is emotional continence. Maybe the master skill is fortitude, emotional fortitude under duress. And if you think about that, then, okay, how do you go about having emotional fortitude or non-attachment to outcome when it really matters? And this is kind of the next kind of stage. Like if you know yourself and know that you don't have a lot of emotional continence, what would you do to make your emotional continence greater, right? And here I would just suggest read the Stoics, read up on your Zen, your Zen Buddhism. Try to learn different patterns and actions and types of practices to lose your attachment. Is sort of the paradox of saving your money aggressively and investing it so that you have a certain amount of capital in the future, but at the same time losing attachment, having non-attachment to the long-term outcome, because a lot of it is out of your control, right? And we don't know when the next crash is going to happen or what our actions will be under duress, right? So somehow to kind of practice this master skill of emotional continence and develop that, maybe that's really sort of the fundamental skill that you really want to be thinking about when it comes to being a good fiduciary for your own capital in the future, right? So these are just some general thoughts that I wanted to share that really struck me. I had not thought of hiring an asset manager as a self-protection, like a locked door between me and a bad decision. It's a very creative way to think about it. And then also it just got me thinking about emotional fortitude and how to develop it. So if you have thoughts to add, please leave a comment down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you for watching.